Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War All-Seeing Eye faction as of the Deep Delve access. So as of version 6.3, about every 6 weeks or so, we should be getting a new delve that will have access to deep delves. In doing so, it'll come in with a new troop. It'll also end up getting a new layout as well as access to the Deep Delve game mode. The Deep Delve game mode is currently balanced in a way that is very useless and is pretty much only obtained for the achievement. However, as far as what it currently does, is you can use 2 of your uses. You have your 3 daily uses. You could use 2 of them in order to go, and as well as 10,000 gold, in order to be able to do a bigger delve. You can end up getting more per day. These more per day are most likely just going to only be used to get factions done a little bit quicker. So, for example, to progress through factions, to get them towards 500, do 500 Deathless, 500 Pure Faction, all that kind of stuff, you know, to actually get them all leveled and max. So it's easier than ever to be able to do that. We also have potion effects you end up getting as you get your horde levels up. The most noteworthy ones is you have all the stacking ones, I believe, by about 130, as well as all the potions here, other than powers, by 175, which is where you end up getting that shielding potion, then at 200 and every 25 after you get an additional power. That's all the normal potions that you end up having for the event, and the explosion one and the rejuvenation one do end up specifically stacking as well when you do them for the weekly event or on a Tuesday related event if you happen to be buying into them. But anyways, as far as this, but yeah, you can use 2 of these. It isn't really advised doing this for the most part, mostly because the payout isn't really that much better. The only thing you get is a 1 times higher multiplier, which if you're already at 500, it just brings it from a 1 times to a 2 times, not even to 3 times or anything higher than that, which is relatively low. But the main benefit of this is it does end up giving you a guarantee super treasure room, I guess you could kind of call it. But basically, it has a guaranteed chance of giving you a gnome. Compared to things like Gnomapalooza, this is a pretty bad value exchange. But overall, it's at least better than a normal delve, so it has that going for it. But the final chest and everything else like that isn't really much better. However, there is now 2 layouts, this one and the other one. So as far as the layout for this delve, this room over here is always going to be a guaranteed treasure room. And aside from that, you're mostly just taking multiplier order. So you're going over here, basically going to that corner and then taking the other few if you're going for absolute maximum points. Otherwise, you'll be going into taking these 2 before you take that final treasure room, basically going from here to there, taking these, and then going for that final treasure room in order to take it last in order to utilize that extra bit of gold for the base value that it has. But it's a pretty straightforward layout. Would play essentially as you would normally do it. And we're just going to go really quick just to kind of show this gnome over here. So we're just going to go straight for it, and then we'll go show the layout for the normal one. It is a green-blue restriction as far as this faction is concerned, associated to that of Darkstone. Darkstone is a magic-based kingdom. As of this exact moment in time, it is 26 starable, though it is a really good kingdom to end up getting to 10-star as well as 20-star in order to get those additional magic bonuses. Anyways, we'll go clear this out. We'll go take our little bit of chest over here, and we'll be able to, which is already in correct order. We do want to go for the tier 5 first before this. However, for the sake of this video, we will go directly here, and as you can see, we got a soul gnome. You will not get the loot if it escapes. All gnomes can appear except for pet gnome and the 2 Cedrics. So basically, anything that would normally appear in a standard explore battle, for example, is everything that would also end up appearing in this location. So pretty much as standard of a drop table as you could possibly get as far as the gnome range that it ends up having. So all the normal ones you would kind of expect from a drop table. That does include Cursed Gnome as well as Verse Gnomes. While they are still as rare as ever, they can appear here, and as you can see, we just got 5,000 souls there. So that's like the main kind of little benefit here, and the rest of it's just a, you know, standard delve, just a 2 times multiplier, just with a little bit of a different layout. If you happen to get the other layout is specifically this. So of course, this event, as I was mentioning earlier, you do have stacking effects. So if I actually go check here, if we check all the way over here, you can see we have 2 times rejuvenation and 2 times explosion, because they do end up actually stacking when you have them both through the event as well as through the delve itself. As far as this layout, it's the same true all-seeing eye that you'd pretty much always have. You generally want to go for the tier 4, rush to tier 5, and then take the bottom ones. You could calculate it out based on if this tier 5 is a 1.2 or a 1.3, and just do the tier 4, these 2, and then those. However, if it is a 1.5 times multiplier, it is better to go for here, go up there, and then take down there. Main thing to be cautious about is this tier 1 can be a Dust Devil team, as well as one that has that Devour little troop in it. Though Dust Devil is probably the most annoying, because if it catches you off guard, you will have a disoriented team, which might make you want to take that absolute last instead of rushing it down, in which case you would take this, go there, and then take the final route. But if it is a 1.5 times, it is better to take the middle, go rush towards that, and then take it out. Main reason you don't want to rush for it immediately is because you have 2 lower rooms. They're always going to be low before it, and this will make your multiplier a little bit worse compared to taking this, which could be anywhere from a 1.2 to a 1.4 times. Obviously, the higher it is, the more beneficial. With it being 1.2 in this situation, we technically could go up first, but overall, it's generally not worth min-maxing it that much. Anyways, aside from that, we do have a new troop. As far as the most optimal way to get this troop, you should buy it to tier 3 and then use 2 small blues on it. The other alternative way is to spend 1,310 gems. This will get you enough to upgrade it to legendary, then you use 1 blue orb on it, and then you'll end up having it to mythic. This is not really advised, as you're spending a very, very high amount of gems to do that. Though if you're planning on going for a leaderboard, stuff like that, it could maybe be worth it to end up considering. Though I would consider the absolute best route being going for tier 3, double blue it, and you're good to go. One thing to note is this troop is not in the Chaos Shard drop table. So for example, what I mean by that is if we go over to our All-Seeing Eye and go click on portals, it doesn't matter how many times you click on this, at this exact moment in time that this video is going out, you're not capable of getting this. It'll be available in 4 weeks from now. So at that point, you will be able to get it in the drop table here. However, at this exact moment in time, the epic will only drop as a Clarion. It will never, ever, ever be the other new troop that ended up coming in through this event. So don't waste your charge trying to get it. As far as this troop is concerned, it's okay. Kind of average, maybe slightly above average. Not really going to be used compared to the Empower Skull converters. But for 13 mana cost, brown-yellow, very specifically brown-yellow. Not sure if this is going to be changed. However, the faction is green-blue. Brown-yellow is not green-blue. So it is actually currently impossible to use it for pure faction. I'm not sure if this is going to be an intended thing, and this is planned for every single faction. Though I'd assume you'd be able to use it in the faction going forward, so they'll probably change the color and make all future ones, you know, actually correspond. But at this current moment in time, it is not usable within the faction, so you cannot use it for the pure faction team as we go show the teams in a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of bad because you can't really use it for much. It doesn't have Empower, so it's not going to be used compared to the Skull Converters. The reason I say Skull Converters is where you go through the ability, it burns an enemy, deals some damage to an enemy, which overall that's kind of underwhelming, but what it does have is convert all red gems to skulls to boost the effect. So this is okay. It's basically a skull converter that doesn't have Empower, that makes up for it by having a damage and a burn, with that damage being ever so slightly boost ratioed. Overall, this isn't really worth it due to Empower skull spams. There are 3 troops currently within the game, likely 6 at some point, 1 for every color, that will end up converting a color into skulls with Empower off of turn 1 with 12 mana costs. They are way superior to ever using Burning Aquarian. Currently, a red version of that does not exist, so if you really need a red version of that, you can use him up to that point. However, as soon as we get a 12 mana cost Empower that has Skull Convert from red to Skull, this thing will basically be obsolete. So do be wary of that, and currently it can also not be ran for the faction. So it has very little purpose other than getting Darkstone to a higher star level at this current moment in time. Anyways, aside from that, let's go over the teams real quick. So there are 3 main teams. The first one for our lower level range is pretty standard Rowan build. You can do our Scale Shield or any other weapon that you wish for this one. If you do our Scale Shield, you can run it through the entire thing if you want to. But it's Rowan that you end up getting for free from Forest of Thorns, and basically build it around that. Mirage Queen, which you get from Second Fleet. Leprechaun that you just find randomly in drop table. Black Mana is literally free just from leveling up very easily at a very low level, only like 100, few hundred you'd end up having it. Even though our enemies using it, and I'm pretty sure they're, oh no, never mind, they're high level. I was gonna say they're low level, but nope, they're level 1,500. But anyways, you do get a low level, and yeah, just a kind of standard, nice, cheap, easy team, and it works great for the lower level range. Next one, we have a kind of standard Iron Gut Zugov. For mana accumulation, we do have to go for a Marilith. Luckily, we are able to +3/+3 it, because for whatever reason, this banner still has +2/+2. The only one currently within the game. This is very beneficial for this team, because we have +1 red off of Marilith, and +1 green off of Leprechaun for a total of +3/+3, both of which allow, you know, going straight into Marilith, which makes her divisible by 3 for the number, which makes it even easier. You just simply take green or red twice, and even if neither of them surge, you'll end up hitting full mana, and likely only once because of enchant and everything else. You'll just take it once, get full mana, maybe surge, maybe not, doesn't really matter. You'll have enough mana, and then boom, you just cast Marilith. You then spam Hiking Iron Gut Zugov until you win. And Leprechaun's mostly just there to cast at the beginning to get everything rolling, and Marilith to keep going from there. Everything else to insta-kill. and ends up working out pretty nicely. Aside from that, Pure Faction has not changed because, well, you can't use the other troops, so there isn't really anything to change into. But it's a Clarion Leech, a Clarion, Watch Mother, and X-Raiders has pretty much always been the way to run all CNI for forever. Hasn't changed, and you can't use the new troop even if you wanted to. Though even if you could, I'm pretty sure you would still run this. The new troop, while it's not horrible, doesn't really fit into the type of team that this is, because a Clarion Leech you need because it steals attack, it also is fast so it gets going and has some explosion. A Clarion you need literally just to counter the enemy a Clarion. The enemy will end up converting all brown to green, and you want to convert all brown to green, not even because you necessarily want the green, but more so just to make sure the enemy doesn't get value from it. Watch Monster's mostly just here, or Watch Mother, mostly just here to resummon in case one of your first two die, and you can constantly keep resummoning first slot until it's a Clarion Leech, and go into the final battle with a full team with no deaths. Really easy with this team. And as Raiders, mostly just here for damage pressure and a little bit extra stats that you for a team. He has some damage poke, some skull spam, and also some death mark if it really comes down to desperation to needing it to win, but does have a backup plan with that to insta-kill everything. And overall, among one of the easier factions to do from a Pure Faction, though to some degree, technically all of them are now with the access to potions. So overall, long story short, I do advise not doing deep delves. It is better just to keep doing your daily sigils, or if you get more of them, your extra daily sigils, to end up just progressing through factions. You mostly want to be targeting just progression on factions and getting them to 500 Deathless, 500 Pure Faction. It is not really worth doing deep delves in the current state of the game. This might change into the future, but I figured we cover this video just to kind of go over teams, refresher of everything, go over kind of like the layout of the new thing and all that. And we'll be covering this again for every single upcoming deep delve variant, as well as some videos now that we know all the changes that are happening with factions. We can now cover some things on factions, like all Pure Faction teams for every single faction, where all the better troops are, and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, that'll wrap it for now. If you still have any other questions, definitely feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.